Welcome back to computer science. Yesterday we started basically a section on math module in Python. It's a extended or a file that you can import into your Python and do a lot more complex mathematical operations than just basic arithmetic. And that's basically the high level overview of what we were doing. You can use import math and then yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump back in right away because this stuff is due. We've got assignments due tonight. It's Tuesday, so somehow we were ahead and I didn't really do anything wasting time, and now we're like not ahead, it seems. So I'm gonna jump right in and then be back to recall in a little bit. All right, so we finished up the math module section. Basically I learned you gotta import the file or module first, and then you got to use dot notation. So you got to say, if we're using the math module, we say import math, and then every time we call a function from within math module, we need to do math dot and then the function name. Factorial I learned is just the function's factorial. Okay. The next section was another module known as random module. This is used to generate random numbers. It's in the Python standards library, Python standard modules library, which I looked up. There's like hundreds, over 200 I think within there. So math and random are the two modules we learned about so far. So random, the functions we learned about are random, which will return a floating point number, a random floating point number, between 0 inclusive and 1 exclusive. I think it prints out 15 integers, or 15 digits, I should say, after the decimal point. We learned about rand num. I don't know what rand something. We learned that rand int will produce, you can put in the arguments as min and max, so you can choose a random number between the min and max inclusive. Rand range, that's the other function. So rand range, if you can either use a min and max or just one argument. If you just use one argument, it will be between 0 inclusive and the number you pass to it exclusive, and this will rand range and rand int both produce integers. So yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah. If you do if your argument is a min and a max for rand range, it'll be min and max minus 1 inclusive for both. So that's it for now. We are very, very, very close to finishing up lecture 5, which is due tonight. So solid. We'll be done later today, right on time. So that's it. We'll have a lot of, potentially a lot of MSPs. No, we won't. Actually, we're done with the MSPs. We accidentally finished them last week. So after we finish up today, lecture 5, we'll be ahead of schedule again. We won't have another thing due until Sunday. So that's it for right now. I'll talk to you later today. See ya. All right. Welcome back to computer science. Earlier today, we learned about the random module, right? We learned about rand function. We learned about rand. What was this again? It's not random. Rand int is one. Man, I forgot the rand again. What is this rand something? Rand range, dang it. All right, that's pretty much it for a very broad overview. Let's jump back in, finish up the work that's due tonight. So talk to you in a bit. All right, we finished lecture 5, which was arithmetic, and started lecture 6, which is it's strings and formatting output, I think. The first section we're in is representing strings. So we learned about Unicode, which is basically a way, it's like a translator between, it assigns every character a unique code point or numerical representation. So for example, I think capital A is 65 in Unicode. And there's over 149,000 characters in Unicode currently. So all the different languages, basically, all the different written languages are in Unicode. But Python uses Unicode to represent strings and characters into numerical values. Yeah. Okay. Yes, that is right. Next up, those numerical values are known as decimal encodings or code points, and we can translate back and forth. Escape sequences are also in Unicode. It's like there are two character sequences that begin with a backslash. So we get the escape sequence or the new line sequence and others. These can be ignored if you use a raw string, which is a string that ignores escape sequences and just prints out the characters instead. And you can create a raw string by using R before the quotation marks of the string literal. And then we learned about ORD function. The ORD function basically takes a character and tells you its encoding decimal. And then there's a different one, the reverse, where it takes an encoding decimal and returns the character. It's CHR, character, I guess. CHR. Decimal encoding. All right. And then at the end of 5.5, we learned about pseudo-random. So Python random numbers generated from the random module aren't really actually truly random. They're pseudo-random, meaning each random number is determined based on a calculation from the previous number. So you can basically predict the next random number if you know the previous random number and you know whatever the specific calculation is. But the first number is generated based on the current time. That's the seed, but you can define specific seeds in your program. So if you wanted to start at the same seed every time, you can know what the next random numbers will be every time. They'll be the same every time if you start with the same seed. So that's it for today. We're going to continue working through lecture 6. Even though I want to do MSPs, even though I want to do this optional stuff, I'm going to continue working on lecture 6 until I'm done, and then we'll go from there. I think one lecture a day, there's 5 sections that have participation and challenge activities in lecture 6, and it's Tuesday, so we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So not counting today, if we do one a day, we'll be on pace. So then, yeah, if I finish that and I have multiple extra days, if I only had 2 sections right now and I had 5 days to complete it, that's when I'd be like, okay, let's complete this one. If it's the next assignment due, but then if we have multiple days, more than the number of sequences due in the next assignment, then we'll go back and do optional stuff. So that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.